welcome back to my channel. Today we will learn about the issue causing emotional tremors throughout General Hospital, a revelation that changes everything for Gio, Brooklyn, Dante, and Cody. The past is catching up, secrets are surfacing, and the truth is threatening to tear relationships apart in ways no one expected. The revelation: Gio learns the truth in recent episodes. The long-kept secret about Joe's parentage finally came to light. Gio was confirmed to be the biological son of Brooklyn Quartermain and, as it was initially believed, Dante Falconeri. The news sent shockwaves through Port Charles and left Gio reeling. The young man had always struggled with questions about his identity, but discovering that both Dante and Brooke had withheld the truth hit him hard. Gio felt abandoned. To him, it seemed like Dante never cared and Brooke had given him away like he didn't matter. His emotions spiraled between anger, sadness, and confusion. For a moment, it seemed like this new chapter would only reopen old wounds and drive the wedge deeper between him and the people who claimed to love him. Brooke's confession and Dante's struggle. Brooklyn didn't take long to explain her actions. She sat down with Dante and tearfully admitted the painful truth: Dante had no idea about Gio because she had intentionally hidden the pregnancy. Back then, Brooke was young, scared, and felt trapped. When she gave birth, she believed giving Gio up for adoption was the best decision for everyone involved. Her choice, however flawed, came from fear, not malice. She told Dante that she didn't inform him because she assumed he wouldn't want to be involved or wouldn't have stayed. But deep down, Brooke knew that wasn't true, and that's part of what's haunted her for years. Dante, stunned, listened as the woman he trusted told him she made a life-altering decision on his behalf without his knowledge. Despite the shock, Dante tried to understand. The man who wore a badge for a living new life wasn't black and white. He recognized the fear Brooke must have felt, even if he disagreed with her decision. His heartbreak wasn't just about being kept in the dark, it was about the years he missed being a father to Gio. Joe's forgiveness and the DNA test. After a tense and emotional confrontation, Gio surprised everyone. He decided to take a step toward healing. He told both Brooke and Dante that he was willing to move forward, but only if the truth was confirmed through a DNA test. He needed clarity. He needed proof that what he was being told now wasn't just another layer of deception. Brooke agreed. Dante agreed. The three of them submitted to testing, hoping to put the questions to rest once and for all. When the results came back, they confirmed what Brooke already knew: she was Joe's biological mother. But then came the twist that no one saw coming: Dante was not Joe's father. Dante's world turns upside down the moment the results were revealed. The air left the room. Dante, who had already started to process the idea of having a son, was blindsided. He had gone from shock to acceptance to anticipation, and now, it was all being ripped away. The child he was just beginning to love, the future he had envisioned, was suddenly uncertain again. Dante's emotions exploded. He demanded answers, pushing Brooke to tell him who the real father was. But Brooke was stunned as well. Or at least, she appeared to be. Brooke's secret, the truth about Cody behind closed doors. Brooke knew the truth. She didn't need a second DNA test to guess who Joe's biological father really was. The answer was Cody Bell. Back when Brooke was younger. Before Dante, before the complications of her music career and Quartermain family obligations, she had a brief, emotionally complicated fling with Cody. It was a time in her life she had mentally buried. When she found out she was pregnant, she convinced herself it was Dante's. They had been together during the same period, and the timeline, though messy, seemed to work. But now the DNA test left her nowhere to hide. Despite the pressure from Dante, Brooke chose to keep Cody's identity a secret. She wasn't ready to tell Cody. She wasn't sure how he'd react. And more importantly, she feared what revealing the truth would do to the already unstable situation. Brooke convinced herself that Cody wasn't ready to be a father. That he didn't want that kind of responsibility. That maybe she was protecting everyone by keeping this to herself, but deep down, she knew this was another lie waiting to explode. Dante's distrust grows as Dante grappled with the results. He couldn't shake the feeling that Brooke wasn't telling the whole story. He'd known her long enough to read her expressions, to spot the hesitation in her voice, the way she avoided eye contact when he pressed her. He started asking around. Subtly at first. Conversations with Maxie, with Chase, even with Cody himself. He pieced together timelines. Asked old questions. Looked through old photos. Every clue pointed him in one direction. Cody. The idea made him furious. If Cody was Joe's father, and Brooke was keeping that from him, it would mean yet another betrayal. And if Cody knew, and he was keeping quiet too, it would destroy their friendship. Dante started pulling away from Brooke, from the possibility of being Joe's stepfather, from the Quartermaines altogether. The pain was too raw. He'd allowed himself to dream about a life with a son, only to have it ripped away and buried under more lies. Joe's journey. Identity, forgiveness, and hope. As the adults fought and kept secrets, Gio was left trying to understand who he really was. The discovery that Dante wasn't his father shocked him, but it also opened new questions. Who was his father? Why hadn't he been told the truth? And what kind of man had Brooke fallen in love with before Dante? He appreciated Brooke's effort to reconnect and explain herself. He even began to feel some warmth toward her, something like forgiveness. But his confusion about his father weighed heavily. He began watching Cody. Observing. Analyzing mannerisms. Comparing photos. Looking for signs, a shared smile, a similar gesture. At one point, he even took a hair from Cody's gym towel. Quietly, without asking, he sent it in for another DNA test, this time, on his own terms. The second DNA test, Gio confirms the truth a week later. The results came back. There it was, in black and white, Cody Bell. Biological father of Giovanni Quartermaine. Gio sat with the news for a few days before saying anything. He thought about approaching Brooke, about confronting her, but in the end, he decided to go directly to Cody. Cody learns the truth. When Gio finally sat down with Cody, he was direct. He handed Cody the DNA report and said, "You're my father." Cody was speechless. His face turned pale. He read the paper again and again, struggling to process what he was seeing. But slowly, the reality settled in. And with it, a flood of emotions he didn't expect. He looked up at Gio and said, "If I had known, I would have been there. I swear." The two men talked for hours about the past, about Brooke, about what this meant now. Gio didn't ask Cody to be a father overnight, but he wanted the truth. And now, at last, he had it. Brooke's confession and new complications. News of the confrontation spread quickly. Brooke was forced to admit the truth. Not just to Cody, but to Dante and the rest of the family. She owned her mistakes. She admitted that fear, shame, and uncertainty drove her decisions. But her apologies couldn't erase the hurt. Cody, to his credit, didn't lash out. He told Brooke he understood why she had been afraid, but that keeping him from his son was something he could never fully forgive. Still, for Joe's sake, he agreed to be involved, cautiously, but consistently. Dante, however, felt the final blow. Brooke's deception ended whatever remained of their relationship. He walked away, telling her he didn't know who she really was anymore. What's next for Gio? With the truth out, Gio finds himself at a crossroads. He has a mother who's trying to earn his trust. A biological father stepping into his life. And a complicated history that's still being unpacked. He chooses not to be bitter. Instead, Gio decides to focus on his own future. He wants to understand where he comes from, yes. But more importantly, he wants to decide who he becomes. He begins forging a new relationship with Cody, slowly, with cautious optimism. He keeps in contact with Dante, who he still considers a father figure in many ways. And he continues to give Brooke a chance to prove herself, even if it takes time. Next, we will dive deep into the brewing storm surrounding Drew Cain and Nina Reeves, whose clandestine romance is teetering on the edge of exposure in Port Charles. The undercurrents of betrayal, revenge, and forbidden passion are swirling through the town, threatening to upend lives and shatter relationships. As secrets unravel, the stakes have never been higher for these two, with powerful players like Tracy Quartermaine lurking in the shadows, ready to strike. Let's explore the intricate web of deception and desire that promises to keep fans glued to their screens, as we dissect every angle of this explosive storyline with fresh insights and intriguing possibilities. The ticking time bomb of Drew and Nina's secret affair. In the heart of Port Charles, a scandal of epic proportions is simmering just beneath the surface. Drew Cain, the cunning congressman with a knack for playing dirty, has been entangled in a torrid affair with Nina Reeves, a woman whose own moral compass often seems to spin wildly out of control. Their hidden romance, built on a foundation of lust and lies, is a powder keg waiting to ignite. Drew's arrogance, however, may prove to be his undoing. In a reckless bid to divert suspicion, he orchestrated a scheme to pin a drugging incident involving ketamine on his formidable aunt, Tracy Quartermaine, during a high-profile event. This audacious move was nothing short of a declaration of war, as Drew underestimated the sheer tenacity and shrewdness of Tracy. Unbeknownst to him, Tracy has long been privy to the steamy escapades between Drew and Nina, quietly biding her time like a chessmaster waiting to declare checkmate. Her silence is not a sign of weakness but a strategic pause, as she sharpens her claws for the perfect moment to strike. The question remains, will Tracy's revelation come as a swift dagger to Drew's ambitions, or will other distractions in her life delay the inevitable fallout? The residents of Port Charles, and fans alike, are bracing for the chaos that will ensue when this bombshell finally drops. Tracy Quartermaine, the silent storm of vengeance. Tracy Quartermaine is no stranger to the art of revenge, and Drew's attempt to frame her at the glamorous 2025 Nurses' Ball, where she was publicly humiliated and arrested on the red carpet in a stunning emerald gown, has only fueled her determination to settle the score. The incident, captured by every camera in attendance, became the talk of the town, with social media ablaze over the dramatic takedown of one of Port Charles's most iconic figures. But Tracy is not one to wallow in defeat. While her current focus is split between nurturing her newly discovered grandson, Giovanni Gio Palmieri, as he navigates the opulent yet treacherous world of the Quartermaine dynasty, and providing unwavering support to Brooke Lynn Quartermaine Chase during a tumultuous period, Tracy's mind for strategy never rests. Joe's arrival at the Quartermaine mansion, with his wide-eyed innocence and hidden talents as a violin prodigy, has captivated Tracy's heart, softening her steely exterior momentarily. Meanwhile, Brooke Lynn's struggles with balancing her career and personal life have kept Tracy emotionally invested in family matters. Yet, her ability to juggle multiple priorities is legendary. Insiders whisper that Tracy has already begun gathering evidence of Drew and Nina's indiscretions, perhaps even hiring a private investigator to tail the pair during their secret rendezvous at obscure diners on the outskirts of town. Whether it's a matter of weeks or merely days, Tracy's retaliation is poised to be a calculated masterpiece, potentially exposing Drew and Nina in a way that leaves no room for recovery. Willow Tate Corinthos, a heart betrayed. The fallout from Drew and Nina's affair promises to be most devastating for Willow Tate Corinthos, whose blind trust in Drew has painted her as a naive pawn in this dangerous game. Willow, with her gentle demeanor and unwavering belief in second chances, has stood by Drew through thick and thin, seeing him as a pillar of strength and integrity. When the truth about his betrayal with Nina comes crashing down, it will shatter her world like a fragile glass sculpture. Sources close to Willow suggest she may retreat into a shell of anger and hurt, lashing out at both Drew and Nina with a ferocity rarely seen in her character. Her words, sharp as knives, will cut deep as she severs ties with the two people who have so callously toyed with her emotions. The burning question on everyone's mind is whether Willow will turn to Michael Corinthos, her estranged partner, in a desperate bid for reconciliation. Their shared history and the well-being of their children might compel Michael to consider opening the door to forgiveness, even if his pride urges him to keep it firmly shut. However, their reunion is far from guaranteed, as old wounds and new resentments could create an insurmountable chasm. Fans are left to ponder if Willow's heartbreak will lead to a transformative journey of self-discovery, or if she'll crumble under the weight of this double betrayal. Drew and Nina. A collision of passion and desperation. At the core of this maelstrom are Drew and Nina themselves, whose tumultuous relationship began in a blaze of conflict and desire. Their first illicit encounter unfolded in the confines of Nina's office at Crimson, a moment born from a heated argument following Drew's release from prison, a turn of events for which Nina bore responsibility after tipping off authorities anonymously. The clash of anger and attraction ignited a spark that neither could extinguish, leading to a series of passionate trysts that defied logic and morality. Now, as their affair teeters on the brink of exposure, history may repeat itself. Imagine a scenario where Nina, reeling from the public humiliation of their secret being laid bare, storms into Drew's campaign office late at night, her eyes flashing with rage as she demands answers. The tension crackles in the air, old resentments bubbling to the surface, only to morph into an unexpected rekindling of their physical connection. Despite Drew's underhanded tactics and Nina's self-loathing for falling for him time and again, their undeniable chemistry could draw them back into each other's arms. This toxic cycle, while disastrous for their reputations, might offer a strange solace in the aftermath of Willow's rejection and Tracy's retribution. In a town where alliances shift like sand, Drew and Nina might find themselves as each other's only refuge, two outcasts clinging to the wreckage of their choices. The ripple effects in Port Charles. The impending revelation of Drew and Nina's affair will send shockwaves through every corner of Port Charles, reshaping relationships and power dynamics in unforeseen ways. Local gossip at Kelly's Diner is already buzzing with speculation, as regulars sip their coffee and exchange theories about who knew what and when. Business tycoons and socialites alike are placing bets on how long Drew's political career can survive the scandal, with some predicting a swift resignation while others believe his charm and cunning will weather the storm. Meanwhile, Nina's role at Crimson could come under scrutiny, as advertisers and board members question her judgment and professionalism. Beyond the immediate players, other residents like Sonny Corinthos and Carly Spencer may find themselves drawn into the drama, forced to pick sides or mediate as tensions escalate. Sonny, with his own history of tangled romances, might offer Nina a begrudging ear, while Carly could relish the chance to see Drew knock down a peg after years of rivalry. The nurses' ball aftermath, initially centered on Tracy's arrest, will pale in comparison to the media frenzy surrounding Drew and Nina's exposure, with tabloids splashing lurid headlines across their front pages. As the dust settles, the true cost of their actions will become apparent, leaving a trail of broken trust and fractured bonds in their wake. A glimpse into the future, redemption or ruin. As we look ahead, the trajectory for Drew and Nina remains shrouded in uncertainty, a narrative ripe with potential for both redemption and ruin. Could Drew pivot from this scandal by throwing himself into a high-profile charity initiative, perhaps launching a foundation for prison reform to spin his past incarceration into a story of personal growth? Or will his political enemies seize this opportunity to dismantle his career once and for all, exposing even darker secrets from his past? Nina, on the other hand, might channel her pain into a bold reinvention, stepping away from Crimson to start a new venture, perhaps a memoir detailing her tumultuous journey through love and loss in Port Charles. Yet, the specter of their mutual attraction looms large, a dangerous pull that could sabotage any attempt at rebuilding their lives separately. For Willow, the path forward may involve finding strength in unexpected places, perhaps forging a deeper bond with her children or leaning on a surprising ally like Jocelyn Jacks, whose own romantic missteps could provide a source of empathy. Tracy, ever the survivor, will undoubtedly emerge from this saga with her head held high, her vendetta against Drew serving as a reminder to all of Port Charles never to cross a Quartermain. As fans, we can only watch and wait, captivated by the intricate dance of deceit and desire that defines life in this unforgettable town.